Love is back. Admit it, you thought love was gone too, but no. If you're looking for a way to express your undying love this Valentine's Day, perhaps you forgot your anniversary last time, or you just want to show someone you care, well, it's time to write a love poem. I'm Cupid from Proofed, and I'm here to give you 5 tips to write a great love poem. First up, if you want to write a love poem, you need to read some love poems. We can't just expect ourselves to be natural virtuosos writing poetry for the first time. The idea isn't to copy existing love poetry, rather to give yourself some ideas of what you might include in a love poem. If you're not sure where to start, try some famous love poems, like A Red, Red Rose by Robert Burns, Sonnet 18 by Shakespeare, She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron, and How Do I Love Thee by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. These should give you a good sense of what classic love poetry is like. But these classic love poems are just a starting point. In fact, many modern poets have found very new and interesting ways to express their love for someone. In I Wanna Be Yours, the poem by John Cooper Clarke, perhaps made most famous by the Arctic Monkeys song which used the same lyrics, Cooper Clarke tells his beloved, "I want to be your vacuum cleaner, breathing in your dust." And I agree, inhaling dust might not conjure up the immediate romantic images that these classic poems do, but that's what makes it all the more striking. Similarly, Frank O'Hara finds passion in the ordinary in his poem Having a Coke with You. Poems like these should inspire you not to have to stick to an overused or serious formula. Next, pick a type of poem. Poetry comes in many forms. Popular choices for a love poem include sonnets, which are 14 lines long and most associated with Shakespeare, acrostics, in which the first letter of each line spells out a word, and concrete poetry, where the words are arranged to form an image. Of course, you don't have to restrict yourself to these styles. You could perhaps use free verse, which isn't restricted by meter or rhyme. But if you're new to poetry and trying to express your love in a new way for the first time, it can be helpful to stick to one of these well-established poetic formats. Make it personal. A good love poem should be personal. There are 2 key factors to consider here. Don't feel like you have to use old-fashioned or overblown language. Shakespeare might have used words like thee or thou, but this isn't his poem, is it? To make sure it feels personal, the poem should be in your voice, using language that feels natural to you. Second, think about the person you're writing to. How do you feel about them? What do you love about them? Are they funny, clever, elegant? Try brainstorming a list of words that come to mind when you think of your loved one. You can use these terms to shape the language and tone of your poem. You should also include references to things that make your relationship special. Do you both love professional wrestling? In that case, you could say that your beloved suplexed your heart. Or, if you bonded over a shared love of video games, perhaps you could refer to your beloved as Player 2. The trick is to write a poem that nobody else could have written. Try to avoid cliches. Another part of making a love poem feel personal and unique is looking out for cliches. You might want to avoid common words and phrases that are associated with love poetry. You know the classics, roses are red, violets are blue, I'm head over heels for you, or something about having butterflies in your stomach. I'm sure your loved one will have heard these phrases time and time again, and this can make the poem lack that special, unique, personal element that I'm sure you want to communicate. It's not that you can never use phrases like this in a love poem. If you find a unique or new take on a cliched phrase, that can be particularly effective. But if you rely too much on overly familiar language like this, your poem could lack impact. Finally, ask for feedback. Perhaps a mutual friend, someone who knows you both well and is familiar with your relationship. This person can provide valuable insight and give you ideas for parts of your relationship that you can include in your poem. Or you could ask someone who knows a lot about poetry to give it that expert eye and perhaps spot particular lines where the rhythm doesn't quite fit. The key here is to find little ways to polish the final version of your poem. And that's it. Go forth and spread the love. I really want to hear in the comments how you get on writing and perhaps presenting your love poems. If you have any questions or want to share your own tips, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to check the resources and the poems linked in the video description. Your love life? Proof.